Hello everyone, welcome back in one more episode of Logistic Unlocked. Today our guest done his masters from Ohio and then he came back to India and joined his family transportation business in Indore, and after that he is keep doing logistic business and he's keep providing the solutions whatever company need. He's running a tech enabled logistic company, and in this video we have talked about what kind of challenge any transportation company face, what is the importance of getting vehicle unloaded, what kind of problem they face with drivers, and what the solution any company can do to get more benefit from logistic company, what are the future of this entire industry, and most important part, we have discussed so many things from the point of view of any transportation company. So let's unlock the logistics. So let's start with what is business logistic engineering. I never heard that word. Like, kya hai ye? If you can little bit explain.
Sure. So after doing my graduation from Trichy in 2010, I kind of worked with the company for a year or so. Then I started with my family business, which is in logistics. Uh, so I think that was my first stint with this industry. Got to know so many new things every day. And then somehow I got interested in getting educated formally in this particular field. So looked on for few courses outside of India. So figured out, okay, two three such courses are being offered in UK, in US. Then finally got offer letters from all these universities and decided to join at Ohio State.
Mhm.
So basically, unfortunately, they don't offer this course anymore. I think they discontinued it. I think 3 to 4 years back. It was a course which was offered by the ICE, that is Integrated Systems Engineering, and the MBA school, that is Fisher School of Business at Ohio State. So we had a
Mhm.
kind of mixed courses. So some of our classes used to be in the engineering side, in the engineering section, and the rest of them at the management side, at the business school. So it was, I think, a very, very good experience for me. A lot of, you can say, exposure I got of seeing both the sides of the business, the engineering as well as the business side. Um, some courses which were offered at the engineering side were like warehouse design, network optimization, operation research, and on the management side, there were like the basic finance, operations, and all these sort of courses. So we used to be in the taking few courses with the MBA students as well. So
Mhm.
overall, the learning which we got, which you get from the peers, I think it's very precious. 90% of my classmates, they were from China, so got to learn a few Chinese words as well. So after graduation, I think I started in 2012, and it was a very rigorous course where we had to take like 36 credits within 3 semesters. So my experience with that was wonderful.
You're perfect. So you are in this logistic from last 1 decade, right? You have seen that how logistic has been grown in India, what has been changed so far. So what is changed when you started with your business, right? Your family business in logistics, and right now when you are running so many things, you are working and you are seeing that how logistic is happening. So what is the one particular change which you feel was too good?
I think let me start with when I returned back to India in 2015-16. It was kind of a pre-geo period for the Indian industry. It's still like many of the things were manual, lots of processes. There were no processes actually. Lots of you can say paperwork was going on in the industry. But now the the way geo helped technology penetrate, especially in the logistic industry, is like mind blowing. Um, we never thought like 5 years back that okay, you can send a location to the driver and then using that particular location, he will reach the destination. There used to be all these guides outside the cities which used to take the drivers to the locations. Um, I mean, the way we all have adopted, even the people who have not that much primary education or secondary education, they have acknowledged technology with both their hands open. So, like now, all these drivers, they are using Google Maps, they are using WhatsApp in their own languages. They may not
Mhm.
be literate, but everybody can read in their local languages. So it's very easy for us, for a company to send instructions to all these people, um, and things have become much more faster for us. Thus, the efficiency in the system has increased significantly.
Perfect. So you are into this, LSP sector where you are working as a transporter, right? You're placing vehicle to these companies, and we have seen that anything happen in logistics. First of all, that person who's get blamed is transporters, right? They are the one who get blamed, and they are the one who get so many penalties and all, right? So how you see these things, right? We know transporter are the one who is very important pillar in logistics, but they are what I call like people see them as a most corrupt, like person in entire this industry. So what's your take on that? Like how you see that?
I think the reason for it might be that initially the people like who all were into logistics, they genuinely used to misguide the customers. But now we are seeing more and more sophistication coming into this industry, especially in the past decade or so. Now, lots of people, lots of young people, they want to really pursue this profession. They look forward to going to their companies, just like people of my age and the younger one. Now the customers also, they know, like, they are interacting with like well-educated people, well-educated students, and they understand that if now we are better able to understand the problem statement, the customer's problem statement. So I think it was just a matter of time now, as more and more younger generations coming into this industry, and the basic thinking of all these customers is also changing.
So I definitely like to know more about the thinking of transporter when you place a vehicle for any company, when get your money gets stuck in any company because you have heavy load of payments, right? Because you pay directly to drivers, brokers in advance, but you are getting money after 3 months or 4 months or something like that, right? So what's your mindset and why you're doing this?
I think it's one of the challenges which I think the industry has to go through, and it has been going through for quite some time. So, like when we make the payment to the vehicle owner, and when we receive the payment from the customer, the difference between this would be like vary from 60 to 120 days.
Right.
So the finance cost associated with with this business is quite high. Um, I think somewhere we all are to blame for it, because just to get
Mm,
more business from the customers, we tend to accept to their payment conditions. So we all have, due to this competition in the market, we tend to agree to the customers, and so customers, I mean, who doesn't like to use others' money to run their business, right? So if somewhere, so what this has done is, the smaller transporters, uh, they are not able to work with these big companies who have bigger payment cycle. So in
mm,
a way, like if you're a big company, it kind of reduces the competition in the market.
mm.
But no doubt, like if you are moving from like a small trucking company to a medium or a bigger one, it's one of the challenges which you have to go through
Mm.
and slowly get over it.
So, like this is the one of the major challenge. Even I also pitch my clients that if you can reduce the time of doing the payment to transporter, you might get better rate because they are getting money earlier, right? So they can give you more discount or something like that, right? They can reduce their margin which they are getting from market, right? So what could be the one solution which you can offer, right? What's your thinking? How you can reduce this? Because it will also eventually, help you to increase your services, right? If you're getting money less than 1 week or 2 week, right? It will help you to run the operation more smoothly and you will give more services to your client, right? So what could be one solution which you can offer?
I think when we talk about all these big MNCs, obviously their finance cost is on a much lower side than what it is for us, right? So if they are doing the payment in 2 months, the interest
Mm,
which, if they can make this payment in a month or so or in 15 days, the because of their lower finance cost, it's very little thing for them, but for us it means the world, right? If we can get a payment in 50 days. So lots of these companies, they kind of offer the solution of discounting, bill discounting nowadays, where they tend to, after the summation of bills, based upon a very lower interest rate, they kind of discount it from your bills and they release the payment within 15 days. Plus, now lots of companies, they're moving towards ePODs. Now the accounting department is realizing that they don't need the hard copy of the POD anymore, because the GRN is already done, right? If the material is moving from their factory to their warehouses, both the locations have their own ERPs where the goods receiving is done. So based upon that, they tend to confirm that the payment is, that the material is received. So based on that, many companies now, even we don't have to submit the bills. Actually, we have to submit the bills, but not we don't have to attach the soft copy of the PODs as well, because they kind of verify it from the system. So just having a good ERP in the company, it can help, especially the transporters get paid quickly.
So can you little bit more explain about the ePOD and how this works and what is the benefit for you to, like if any company using ePOD mechanism, what kind of benefit you get and how this entire ePOD works?
So the biggest benefit we get is like our payment is no more delayed. Like once the delivery is done. So what is happening in the current process is when the material is delivered. Like suppose we left the material from Delhi to Mumbai
Hmm.
on 1st of April. Now the material gets delivered around 4th of April, and then the driver receives the POD, and then he carries the POD with him until he comes back to Delhi. Right. So the time from the pickup date and the time when we receive the POD, it could vary from 15 to 20 days. And then we will take 4 or 5 days more to prepare the bill. And then we will courier the bill, which may take 3 or 4 more days. So it's almost 30 days from the point of pickup when our bill gets delivered to the customer. But if the ePOD feature is enabled, like when the 4th of April, when the delivery is done, the driver can simply like send us the WhatsApp copy of the POD, a clear picture, which we can upload on the customer's ePOD portal if they have it. And thus, we can submit the bill by 7th of April. Thus, instead of 30 days of time being taken, we can submit the bills within 7 days, and thus our payment cycle improves, and thus we can offer our services at a much lower cost to the customer. So ultimately, it's a win for the customer.
Perfect. True, true. And like I have seen few companies, they are using our POD mechanism, ePOD mechanism. They are literally getting good services, and even transporters are, very happy with that service. And they are also contributing in this entire POD mechanism. They are also asking their drivers to upload, or maybe they are also getting the photocopy and they are uploading, and that's happening. The ratio is very good, and they are literally working on that part. So I would also like to know how any transporter can make sure that the services which that person is offering, the transport is offering, is always increasing. It's not decreasing for any client. What are the things that the transporter can do?
In today's time, I think you need to follow the trend, or at least stay ahead of the trend. You need to have your own software in place, your own ERP, based on which kind of caters to your needs, right? Um, you have to take technology seriously, because if you
Mhm.
don't, there is another transporter who will beat you at this game. So, like every company ultimately will be a tech company, as said
Mhm.
by the tech entrepreneurs. That if you're not using technology, some tech company will get into your field and then they will replace you. And just to stay proactive, and if you still have all these manual things going on, once you reach to a particular scale, it gets very difficult to manage. But
Mhm.
by using automation, by using your own alerts in the ERP and all, you kind of can create a system which work for itself without
Mhm.
much manual intervention. So using technology is the key. Besides that, I think human resource is the most important resource of any organization. So the way you treat your employees, I think employees for any organization should come first. They should come first before the customers, because if employees are treated well, they will take care of the customers in much better way than you can think of.
Mhm.
And especially in our industry, I think driver is the king, right? Um,
Yeah,
uh,
I was coming
he,
there. I was coming there because in our industry, even like own people don't does not treat our employees very well, right? They just think he's just a driver or traffic
right,
person or something like that, right?
right. So I think driver is the king. Just think about it, that even to your own relative, it's very difficult to lend him like 5 lakhs, 10 lakh rupees, on loan, right? But to your own driver, you're giving like 30, 35, 40 lakhs vehicle, and for which he's totally responsible for it. So it's a big investment which you're making. And there has been a trend in the industry where drivers are ill treated. They are not even at the customer's end. The customer loading and loading points, they are made to wait in the trucks for days. Like when the vehicles does not get unloaded, they don't even have like even the big companies, they don't have good facilities. Driver washroom facilities at the points where the driver are made to wait. So if something could be done towards it, I'm not saying that the companies are not doing it. We are seeing on ground changes being done, and now lots of all these companies, they are investing their CSR funds in improving the driver facilities at their factories, and what we do in our industry is there is a trend to kind of make late payments to the driver. Uh,
Hmm.
but what we do is like we try to settle their payment as fast as possible. So like for all the trips which they have made from first to 30, we'll try to close all their hisab and all by 7th of the next month, and make sure they are getting paid by before 10th. So because when you give the money in their hands timely, they tend to stay with you. They tend to not look for any other job,
Hmm.
because this is they tend to value this a lot, timely payment. So you can improve driver retention using all these methods. Not by uh, what drivers hate is you calling them again and again regarding where you are, why haven't you reached your location, why are you waiting here for this long. So what we do is we tend to avoid calling them. Just like if they are staying there for more than 3 to 4 hours at a particular point, they receive a call from our traffic supervisors. Other than that, the location, right? Using the GPS and all, we already know where the driver is. So
Hmm.
that's the comfort the driver gets in a company.
Right. So
And
Piyush,
just on the drivers, like the whole organization is built up using your human resource. So,
hmm.
providing proper respect to even your mechanics, to your office workers, it's very crucial for the success of any organization.
Perfect. Right. So, Piyush, when we are talking about the drivers, driver are the one who are not treated well in entire this logistic industry, right? And there's a one integrity, ethical aspect is also there, right? We see that driver are not so ethical, they are not talking well, they are not supportive, and like as you mentioned, like we trust a lot, right? We give our 30, 40 like trucks to them, right? So, what's your view? Are right now drivers are more ethical? They are more responsible towards their work, or it's same like earlier days?
You can see, I think, with proper training, with a proper, I think, if you give them the proper respect and the proper training they need, this behavior can be changed. I'm not saying like
Hmm.
all of our drivers they are ethically sound, but I mean this is a trend which has been there in the industry for God knows how many years, right? Still, like our drivers, they kind of sell diesel. They get involved in the activities in which they shouldn't be, like maybe
Hmm.
selling the material. If they are hauling meat or something, some kind of agri commodity, they may sell a bag or two. But now what we are seeing is this practices they are gradually being reducing because of the way we have been handling our drivers. In
Hmm.
general, now the industry is also kind of acknowledging it, that you need to give the payment. The Either you give it in his account, or the driver will make sure he takes that payment from you through diesel or material theft, right?
Hmm.
So somewhere, like what we do is we try to have a conversation with all these drivers that, like, even if you are stealing diesel, so the resale value of the diesel will not be on a higher side, right? You won't be you will be able to sell it only in 60 or 70 rupees or 75 rupees a liter, but in actual its price is 90-95 rupees. So you're not gaining much. So why don't we come to a solution where, like, if you give me good diesel average, whatever additional savings I will be getting, I'll pass on 50% of the benefits to you. So
That's
in a
really
way,
nice
like
advice.
you have kind of legalized it. The theft was already happening, right? But now you're giving them extra money by acknowledging their good work. So things like this are being done, which can really help, and this also helps improve drivers' morale. Now
Hmm.
they treat their job with more respect. They look at the job more respectfully, because now kind of we are acknowledging that, okay, you are doing good work, and for this is your reward.
True. So I would like to shift this conversation toward the operation aspect more now, right? So apart from driver, there are people in logistic company which works a lot, right? Just like traffic people who call and ask for fleet owners and rate from fleet owners and brokers. There are elder guy who just challan jo kaatta and all, right? There are people who are just calling and asking where are you, kya chal raha hai, driver say, right? So what is the operational challenge in running a logistic company? What is the major challenge you face on a day-to-day basis?
I think on a day-to-day basis, I mean, there are I cannot. It's very difficult to pin them down because there's so many. It's I mean, from the point of driver reaching the loading point, then making sure the correct material gets loaded in his truck. Lots of time, the factory, the supervisor, the onus is on they put the onus on the driver to count the material, and it's like 5 6 labors loading the vehicle at once. So it's very difficult for the driver to keep track how many packages are being loaded. So
Hmm.
lots of time, like there is shortages at the unloading point because the correct material was not loaded. So ultimately, it's the transporter, is the vehicle owner who has to pay the price for it. So we are fighting one such battle with one of the company, who, like, every month we get shortages of 50 to 1 lakh rupees, and we send mail and everything, but no progress is being made on it. But we are doing a part by informing them. Um, then, like, once the vehicle is loaded, making sure the correct papers are being handed to the driver with the correct invoice quantity, making sure his vehicle number is correctly put on the e-way bill. Because if one letter is here and there, uh, and if the authority catches it, ultimately the transport company would have to pay the fine for it because the contract is conditioned such that, right? So there are lots of checkpoints which we have made, which we have placed, um, to make sure all these mistakes, they are kind of handled at the initial level itself. Like when the vehicle is on the way, operationally, you got to make sure your vehicle is in good condition so that it doesn't break down.
Hmm.
You got to make sure the driver reaches the correct unloading point. There may be 3 warehouses for the customer in that region. So recently,
Hmm.
there is a case where the vehicle was loaded for warehouse A, and it reported warehouse B, which was like 5 kilometers away from it. And at the warehouse B, there are 3 checkpoints. The security is there. The unloading supervisor will be there. They all saw the papers, but still they unloaded the material. They didn't even see that, okay, this material is not related to our warehouse. And now the warehouse A person is kind of calling us every second day, like, why my vehicle is not reached. And then we kind of looked into it and got the POD from the driver. And then we also realized, and they also realized the material is unloaded in warehouse B. So ultimately, I mean, it's the driver. You can't blame the driver actually of
Hmm.
going to warehouse B instead of A. There is like processes, SOPs there in place at warehouse B where the security guard has to check if it's the material does not belong to us. He should have sent the vehicle. No, he should have told the driver that no, this is not the correct for us. So challenges like these are everywhere operationally, which we face like every week or every second third day we counter a problem which we haven't countered before. So I think it's a part of the job, but that's what keeps the thrill going in this industry.
Right. So
Otherwise,
this is
it's
my
like very monotonous.
Yeah, yeah, and this is mind blowing. Like you mentioned, very good points. Like even material are short at loading point, but you are getting claims that it's at loading point shortage or something like that. And this unloading incident that also happened, but no, not such a company which going to accept that this is not our fault. They put that entire blame on transport. That's your fault. Your driver is not take that material at a good location or correct location. That's totally amazing. I mean, this is great. So like what you do after this, like what is the challenges you face after this kind of incident? Do you fight for your money or do you like send mail, and what is the like time for getting this all sorted?
In such situations, I mean, you tend to first of all inform if this is going on regularly. Yeah, I think communication, making sure there is a written communication to the both the parties, to the concerned and consignee, is very crucial. Uh, because if it's a one-time incident, it won't happen, right? But when it's going on again and again, it becomes a trend, and that's where
Hmm.
they also wake up. The consignee, they also wake up, and when there's a constant nagging from our side, they will work on it. They start taking it seriously, and ultimately they will try to solve this problem. But you just can't give up because there's no one who's going to help you but you yourself.
Oh.
Besides that, like in the second incident, you tend to explain when the material was unloaded at the other depot. Okay, you kind of say, okay, this is a joint mistake which took place. So why not work together? Maybe I'll send some another vehicle. which will get unloaded over there and which can take your material to the nearby depot, maybe at half the cost or maybe at a very lower cost. Because ultimately, you are here to form a long-term relationship with your customer. So
Mm.
it should not be it should be win-win for all of us. It should not be like other parties should not be feeling that okay, no, he has not respected my opinions or something.
Have you ever said no to any customer that we will not work with you anymore?
Yes, we have. It's
And
because
why
I
so?
mean there could be there were various reasons for it, like lots of time. If their vehicles are not getting unloaded on time, if instead of knowing that the vehicles are not getting unloaded, they tend to push us to place same vehicles for the same location. Uh, but otherwise, if we don't place the vehicles, they used to debit us. So which is like totally unfair for any transporter. So irrespective of their big names, like if we face such kind of problems, we tend to just complete the contract, or if there is a way out of the contract by giving a notice period. Actually, we haven't given a notice period so far, but we tend to complete the contract and just don't participate anymore with those particular customers. Especially, I think these scenarios and when the similar cases where our grievances are not being listened to, in spite of going to their locations and speaking with them, there is no action being taken from their side. Then ultimately, because I mean India is a big market, you don't have to stick to a customer just for the name's sake. If you're not benefiting from them, if you're in spite of offering your best, if you're not getting something in return, then it's not worth wasting time over it.
Mm. True. So you mentioned one point that unloading point where your vehicle is not getting unloaded, right? And that is a major challenge, right? And we have also seen that there's so many companies who face this kind of challenge that the vehicle is getting detained for 1 or 2 days or 2 days or 3 days, right? And driver also get irritated or some all things happen, right? So how and you can make sure that whenever vehicle getting at unloading point, that is getting unloaded very quickly. What's your view on that? Like how we can do that?
I think transporter can do actually very little about it.
Mm,
It's somewhere. I mean, these all these companies in India still we follow like the push model, where the material is pushed. As soon as
mm,
the material is manufactured, it will be sold. It will be sent to the warehouse. Even if the warehouse has no space, even if there is no sale from the warehouse to the distributors. So until and unless, I mean, this kind of thinking is changed, it's very difficult to reduce down detention from India.
mm,
Or there is some government mandate where like all the vehicles are fitted with GPS, and if a vehicle gets detained at loading or unloading point for more than 24 days, 24 hours, sorry, or, the consignor or consignee has to pay them like 5,000 rupees per day or something. Until and unless their books get hit by all such high detention values, I don't think these companies will wake up to our woes, because ultimately, what kind of detention is paid? It will be like somewhere from 700 to 1,500 rupees. But you
mm.
already know, right? What is the cost of having 1 day idle of a vehicle
Right.
which is costing 35 lakhs at the customer point? It's easily 4 to 5,000 rupees per day. But like still
Totally
we
agree.
get paid 700. Some customers pay 1,000 rupees, which is very very unfair in the industry. But that's
Mm,
what it's going on. So I think you may already be knowing, like out of the 30 days in India, on an average, the vehicle runs on the road only for 15 days. Rest of the 15 days, it is standing at either loading point, unloading point. So, and then the government say the logistic cost is very high in India. Until and unless,
mm.
if you are fully utilizing this asset, which is so costly, it's not possible to bring down the logistic cost. Our
True.
fixed cost in industry, it's amounting to close to 35 to 40% of the total cost is fixed. Like if no matter what happens, you're going, even if the vehicle is running, that meter is running, the cost meter is running. So what is included in the fixed cost? It is your vehicle's EMI, your driver cost, your taxes and all taxes, insurance, everything. And then your variable cost would be your diesel, tires, toll cost. So if you're able to better utilize your vehicle, if your vehicle is moving on the road for a much longer time, you're able to reduce down your fixed cost, and thus you'll be able to offer your services at a cheaper rate, at a
Mm.
more affordable rate. So it's something I think which our truck lobby has been, raising the concerns on regular basis. This detention and all. I hope government does something about
Yeah, true. And you rightly mentioned that, detention ka charges around from 700 to 1500, and the cost for getting 1 day ideal is very high. And that's true. Like if any vehicle coming at 30 to 40 lakh, right, the EMI will be around minimum 20 to 30,000 per month, right? That means 1,000 is just the EMI for 1 day, right? And then driver cost and then other variable costs are there. So it's easily 3 to 4 5,000 a day, and we are getting at least, like minimum 1,000 rupees or 1,500, which is again a loss. And companies who are, like placing these vehicles are suffering this from very long. And I'm amazed to see that how you mentioned that vehicles only run half of the month, right, and half the month they are standing somewhere at loading unloading point. That's really amazing.
Yeah,
So I
like
would like
the
to.
average run per day in India, like the vehicle, it still travels like if it has a single driver, it will travel somewhere between 6,000 to 7,000 kilometers a month. That's it. But in US, that average is almost close to 15,000 to 18,000. So it's almost twice as much.
Right. And I feel even road conditions are also not that good, like now it's improving, but there are locations where driver have to, wait, he have to take, like he have to drive slowly, and that's also increased, like efficiency and mileage, everything. Right.
Yes, yes. But I think this present BJP government in the central has done a tremendous job, especially on the infrastructure side. Now we are
Mm-hmm.
seeing, like we ourselves are seeing our vehicles, like a driver on a single driver, he can run up to 500 to 600 kilometers a day, which was like previously not possible at all. At max, he used
Mm-hmm.
to go till 300 to 400. It's because of the good condition of the roads, and also the vehicles, the new vehicles which are coming. They offer much better comfort to the drivers, the cabin, the cushion, and all.
Mm-hmm.
The shock absorbers and all in the cabin. So it makes the driving job less cumbersome for them, so that they are able to stay in the truck for longer periods of time.
Perfect, perfect. So I would like to know a little bit about your company and what you guys doing and what is something different which you offer in industry.
Sure. So our company is based out of Indore, Central India. Name is Shivani Cares Private Limited. We have been into business, I think, for the past 40 years or so. It was started by my grandfather. So he used to work at a transport company, and for some reason, he got upset with his owner, and then he started his own trucking company. He started with part loads and all, and slowly he started buying his own truck. Then my father, my uncle, took over from him, and then now we all joined the business around 2014, 15. So I have my younger brother, and my cousins also work in the company. Um, we have basically 20 to 25 branches pan India, and we have a fleet size of close to 250 vehicles. And the fleet size varies from like six wheelers to like 22 wheelers. Majority of our fleet size is heavy commercial vehicles. Um, One of the things like what we do differently from the other trucking companies is uh, the way we use technology, uh, especially when it comes to tracking of vehicles, building our own ERP, um making sure the processes systems are in place, be it your billing data, be it your tire management, be it your maintenance data, be it your feedback with the customers on their queries, making sure it gets resolved on time. So somewhere we have a customer centric approach where you just tell your problem and we will try to find a solution. Uh, if not in your cost requirements, but it will be somewhere close to it. But your problem will be solved, even if it is done
Mm.
at a higher cost, but it will be solved. My I have my younger brother and his team has developed a wonderful ERP for us, like in the past 2 years, where like everything, whenever vehicle is loaded, all that data comes in through the EV bill to our ERP. And then within a minute
Mm.
or two, we are able to enter all the details in the system. If somebody has to, make the payment, uh, it can be done within like 5 minutes. The
Mm.
process which used to take like maybe 2.5 hours, it's now we are able to do it within 10 to 15 minutes. And
Mm.
just making use of all the current trends in the market. There is a WhatsApp alert which goes on whenever payment is made to the transporter. Okay, कि मेरा भाड़ा इतना था, मुझे इतना एडवांस आया और मेरा इतना बैलेंस है. So that information he receives over there. We also tend to manage all the data of all the driver numbers, all the data of the transporters, and we use your platform itself to do the bidding. Um,
Right.
get the to understand what's the market rate going on. One thing which we really liked about the Traqo WhatsApp feature is like you don't have to install a particular software or an app in the
Right.
transporter's phone. Just that they receive a WhatsApp message, and yeah, they are able to do the bidding. They're able to give their best rates. Also, I mean, the reason why I think it's very important is when the market is on the upside, you know, right? The market is on the upside because everybody is putting you on the high side. But when the market comes down, it's you tend to realize it after 2 days or 3 days because nobody reduces their rate instantly on
Mm.
phones. So, like, I think this feature, this Traco platform really helped us to figure out, okay, the dip in the market, we're able to figure out instantly so that we can make the best use of it. Because otherwise, you know, when we quote, we tend to quote on the basis of the higher rates and the lower rates in the market. So it's
Mm.
very critical for us to utilize that time when the rates are on the lower side, and that's where the platform helps us.
Mm. So basically, instead of being a normal transport company, you are trying to build a company which is tech enabled, right? And you are using so many trucks, and that's really impressive. And that's the requirement of nowadays, right? So last question, I would definitely like to know, like, how you feel staying indoor and working from Indore. Are you able to generate lots of businesses? Because there are myth going on that you will get business, logistic business around the hubs and around the major cities, tier one cities, all these things. How you feel staying in Indore?
I think it has never been a deterrent for us to work with the big companies. I mean, being in Indore, first of all, I think it's the connectivity is quite easy with all the cities. Whenever you have got a meeting with all these companies who have their offices at maybe Delhi or Mumbai, most of them, the big companies, you tend to first of all, like thanks to COVID now, all these companies they don't call you as much. They for the initial meetings they just do Zoom or Microsoft Teams. They use it, so it has saved a lot for us in for our in our traveling expenses. But now as the COVID is far behind us, they all have started calling us to their offices and all. But I really don't believe that you need to be sitting in Mumbai or Delhi or Kolkata or Chennai to run a logistics company. Ultimately, you can run it from anywhere. You just need good systems, good processes in place. You need to have regional presence, and for that, you need to have a good team on ground to make sure you're getting the businesses from that area. You need to, I think, building a team is the key to have the right
Mm.
individuals leading in those areas who can tell you, okay, these are the good customers you have who are transporting, who are manufacturing a lot, so they are in need of these good transporters. So we tend to go and pitch them. First of all, what we try to do is we try to do cold emailing, try to get their contact number from the websites, and then slowly and gradually. And I mean, you would already know it, right? That it may take like a year or 2 or 3 years to convert a customer.
Mm.
So who knows better than you? Actually, you are into the sales, I think, for a very long time.
Yeah.
But yes, that's how I think you slowly and gradually build relationships with the customer, and you can build logistic business from anywhere. I mean, you don't have to be
Mm.
present in. You can build it from a small city in any small city in MP. You just need like what helps in all these big cities. You get talent, but
Mhm.
one good thing about tier two cities is the talent tends to stay with you for longer period of time. There is very less attrition, and
Mm.
quality of talent you can always develop gradually
Right,
with
right.
proper training and all.
Great, great. Thank you, Piyush. It was great talking to you. Thank you for sharing so many things. Even I was not aware of those things. And stay connected. And we are looking forward to have you once again in future.
Wonderful, Pratik. It was a really pleasurable experience speaking to you, and hoping to be once again connecting with you over here.